Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Life Transformations Podcast. I'm your host, Leo, and today I have the honor of having on as a guest Dan Nixon, aka at dan.nixon.ff on Instagram, a firefighter, husband, father, and someone who has gone through an own transformation, going from, I dare to say, skinny to now a pro natural bodybuilder. And yeah, so definitely a story I would like to hear more about. So, welcome, Dan.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on, Leo. I'm honored to be here.
Great, great. And I have prepared a few questions for you. And then towards the end, I will also open up if there is anything that you would like to ask me, of course. But I guess to start off, um, just to dive into your own transformation, I guess, as a first subject, right? So I've seen some of your like before and after pictures, and yeah, so how did you feel like what got you started into fitness, and how did that process go, and how did you feel in yeah, throughout this process and throughout this transformation, like maybe just share some details about that. And yeah.
Sure. Thanks. When I was a child, I started, I was doing sports here and there, soccer, basketball, things like that. And then I got into some extreme sports when I was a teenager, like skateboarding, rollerblading, snowboarding. I was always pretty skinny though, growing up. And bodybuilding kind of came to me secondarily. uh, I was changing a lot of things in my life in my mid 20s. I was coming out of a big partying phase, really living very unhealthy in a number of different aspects of my life. I was smoking, drinking pretty often, things like that, and I really needed a major change. So I found myself, I quit a lot of those things, and I found myself really needing to find something to spend
Fill
my
that
time and
void.
energy.
so,
What's
some
that?
something to fill that void in a way, I guess, right?
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. I know, yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I'm like, what do I do with myself now? And so yeah, so I started going to the gym. I had gone to the gym here and there in my early 20s, and then when I was a teenager, lifted weights occasionally, but I had never really done it very intentionally with a plan consistently. So yeah, so when I really got into it when I was 25. So that was in 2009. So about 17 years ago now. And yeah, been at it since, been learning and growing, and a ton's changed since then. But bodybuilding has stayed, and I'm very thankful for it as one aspect of my life.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, and that's I can resonate with a lot of the stuff you're saying, right? So we come from different backgrounds, different lifestyles, right? But for me, I was also living, of course, very unhealthy, being morbidly obese and not taking care of myself, right? So um, yeah, so getting changing 180 everything, I had to also like channel my energy somewhere. So for me, it is also becoming fitness. So I see you as an inspiration for my long-term goals, right? Because I would like as well to get to the level of a pro natural bodybuilder. That's kind of an ambition of
Love
mine.
it.
So
Do it. Yeah, I love to hear it.
yeah, yeah. So it's so I'm coming from the opposite end, right? But we
Yeah.
we meet in the middle, I guess. Yeah, yeah. So what would you say is like, since you were mentioning yourself that you were doing sports before, but most of the time you were kind of skinny before growing up and so on. What would you say is your relationship to food? Like for you getting into bodybuilding, has it been like you have had to push yourself to eat more than you're comfortable with to be able to build? Or how has that process been for you?
Yeah, I think I didn't have a good understanding of nutrition growing up. My parents did an okay job uh, making decent meals at home. We didn't eat out a lot, but at the same time, I would have sweets, 2 to 3 times a day, and oftentimes, going to the corner store as a kid and just buying like candy. I remember specifically, when I was a child, every single week I would spend my allowance on candy at the corner grocery store, and my parents didn't object to that. They allowed me to do that, and I was never really instructed. Maybe there was a better way or a good reason not to do that. Um, Never really struggled with being overweight. I did gain a little bit of weight in my early teens. I was playing a lot of video games. I was very sedentary. I stopped playing a lot of sports. And then I got skinny again when I started skateboarding and rollerblading. But now my relationship with food is just it's so much better, and I'm so thankful for that. And I'm thankful to be able to pass that on to my children now. That's
Right.
such a blessing to be able to show my kids what a balanced diet should look like. They eat fruits and vegetables, which is just like I'm so excited for them to have a childhood where they have a balanced diet. They still get treats here and there, which is part of it too. I want to show them, hey, it's okay to have a donut, to have a cookie, but we're not having this all the time. We're not having this every day. Um, so hopefully them having a healthy relationship with food and starting early and then that developing throughout their lives, that's a big goal for my wife and I for them. um, I haven't really pushed my body weight super high. I'm at 175 right now.
Right.
I've gotten as high as 210,
Mhm.
and that was years ago. That was in my early years of bodybuilding when I thought that you needed to bulk to gain um, a significant amount of muscle mass. You needed to bulk to a high level of body fat. And I think that's been pretty thoroughly debunked now as just not necessary. Um, and I'll allow myself to get up into the lower 190s. For me now is about as uncomfortable as I'm willing to get.
Mhm.
And then I'll just kind of fluctuate. Generally, I feel pretty comfortable where I am now, and up and into the mid 190s is my general range.
Cool, cool. Yeah. No, I know the whole, I guess the whole eat big to get big is not seen the same way as it was before, right? It was definitely pushed too hard probably before. People were bulking like way too far than what they needed to. So I definitely understand what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, again, for me, I come from the opposite struggle, right? So, but yeah, yeah. But it's cool. So I guess then, besides that phase when you went like to, as you said, 210 or something like that, then you haven't really like been forcing yourself, I guess, to eat too much. That's what I'm understanding.
Yeah, I haven't forced myself to eat in years. Like I said, it's probably been 10 years or
That's
so
great.
where I've really allowed myself any type of major discomfort as far as force feeding. Um, I haven't really pushed like I said, like a serious bulk where I'm having to put down really significant amounts of food. I'm eating close to 3,000 calories per day right now. And I mean, I've pushed it up into the mid 3,000s, close to 4,000, and that's about as high as I'm willing to go.
Yep.
So if I was younger, if I was in my early 20s, I could potentially do more. But I mean, I'm 42 now, and I got a lot on my plate, and um, for a number of different reasons, I'm not really not interested in pushing food crazy high anymore.
Yeah, fully understandable. Fully understandable. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, so from one thing to another, I guess I am quite curious about you and your journey as a firefighter, right? Because I've seen some updates from you about that, and
Yeah.
you seem to be very passionate about it, which I love. Like I love anyone who is passionate about what they do, right? So how did you get into that, and how is that phase of your life, I guess?
Yeah, that was part of my journey. Um, so I was started making poor choices in my early teens as far as like friend circles, um, like drinking and drugs, things like that. And that carried into my mid 20s. I was never really intentional about thinking through or pursuing a career that would that I could stick with and be proud of and be excited to go to work. Work was always this thing that I viewed as kind of you have to do it begrudgingly to have money to have fun. And so I was in the restaurant business. I worked at a grocery store for a while. I was in the restaurant business for 3 years, and then I worked for a number of different beverage companies for about 7 years, doing sales,
Mhm.
and really didn't enjoy the work, but kind of felt stuck, and that's I felt stuck there and I felt like it was too late to change. And I think there's so many people that need to hear that message that wherever you are in life, however old you are, whatever you've done, it's never too late to change. Because I told myself that for years that it's too late to change. I've made too many mistakes. And that's just a lie. It's never too late to start over. It might be difficult. It might be
Yeah.
more difficult the older you are. You know, if I was just getting in shape at 50, 60 years old, yeah, it's going to be more challenging than when you're 20 or 30, but it's still possible. And I think people vastly underestimate the amount of progress that you can make regardless of what age you're at. And I've underestimated that and I still do. So so yeah, going back to the firefighter, my firefighter journey, I got married in 2012. My wife, saw how unhappy I was. I would come home complaining a lot about work, and she helped motivate me. She was just telling me, you should do something different. We have the opportunity. We don't have a ton of obligations. We don't have kids. Let's make a change now. And I'm thankful I listened to her and she was able to work full time. And I quit my sales job and went back to school. School took about 2 years for me. I quit my job in 2014. And then I was done around 2016, worked a couple part time fire jobs in there, worked some private EMS. And then I've been full time fire paramedic since 2018.
Wow, cool.
And it's just been a journey. It's been a learning experience, as so much of our lives are. But I just most of the time, I would say I really enjoy going to work. It's not perfect. Like last night, I didn't sleep. I'm feeling tired today. That unfortunately, that's just the reality of the job. And every job's going to have things that we don't like about it. There's not a single job out there that's perfect. And so the sleep aspect for me is one of the major downsides of the fire service. But again, it's just I sleep when I can, and we can delve into the sleep aspect more if you'd like, but
Mhm.
um,
I mean, that's interesting from a bodybuilding perspective.
it is. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I get a lot of
Yeah.
questions about the
Yeah.
sleep aspect as far as bodybuilding because so many bodybuilders are very neurotic or, make sleep a huge priority as they should,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, cool. So it sounds like me like you're definitely much happier now, even though there's always pros and cons with everything we do in life, right? But it definitely sounds like you find a path which is more fitting to you and I would like to actually connect back to a couple of the things that you said now in this section because
Yeah.
if I look at my own life, right, I'm 38 right now. I started my journey and from over 460 pounds, I started when I was 35. So about not being too late, I definitely agree with that. And of course,
Yeah.
if you're even older, it is still possible. Would it have been easier if I was 20? Of course, but right, but it is what it is. And yeah, I'm actually in a similar situation. Or yeah, work-wise, I've had to make some tough choices recently myself. So yeah, about 2 months ago, I resigned from my current
Oh,
job without
big
having,
change.
yeah, without having a new one.
Okay.
That was a big jump, uh,
Yeah.
right, into the unknown. Um, and main reason just being that there were not the opportunities that I was looking for there. That's just the way that it was, right? So I've been trying to advance into more of a leadership position for many years, and I haven't been given the chance there. So that is the main reason why I took the decision. And I had to apply to several hundred jobs. The job market is quite tough in Sweden right now. It's I think unemployment is record high at the moment.
Oh wow. Okay.
Uh, but I did secure a new position now.
Congrats.
Yeah, so I'm very happy about that. I'm excited about that. So I signed a new contract about 10 days ago, and yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm making a switch myself for hopefully for the better. We never know before.
Yeah. Did you start yet?
No, so I'm gonna start in June, on the
Okay.
3rd of June. Yeah. So, but it's yeah, I'm at the point where I'm taking chances, and as you said, I don't have, I do have quite a bit of like obligations of my own, of course, but I don't have the obligations of a family yet.
Yeah.
Even though it is something which is definitely in my hopes and dreams, right, of what I would like to do. To build a family. But yeah, but if there was a time to do something like this, it was now.
Yes.
That's how I felt, right? So I can resonate to a lot of the stuff you're talking about.
That's great. I'm glad you recognized, you know, the need and the opportunity for yourself in that regard.
Yeah, yeah, not easy.
It's not, yeah, but a
Yeah,
lot of our best decisions in life, you know, looking back are extremely difficult in the moment, but then they end up being some of the most important best decisions.
right,
And
right.
it may not work out perfectly or exactly how we want it, but it doesn't mean that it's the wrong decision.
No, exactly, exactly. And it might not work out as I thought it would, but at least I feel that I'm more in control of my life, right?
Yeah,
And I think that's important either way. Because when you feel that you're stuck, that you have nowhere to go, that you have to do things a certain way, that's not a good position to be in. So sometimes,
absolutely.
even if the situation doesn't get exactly as you want it, maybe at least it's you make mistake. At least it's your mistake.
That's it. Yeah,
You know. And then you learn, I guess.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You got it.
Um, so yeah, and connecting to this. So um, okay, so you didn't have kids back then, but I saw that you do have kids now, right? And so you have a family, and so so you're juggling bodybuilding, firefighting, taking care of a family. It's definitely a lot. So it's not everybody who can handle all of that at the same time. So that's a yeah. Uh, Kudos to you, I guess. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's and that's what I aspire to do as well, right? Having a career and doing bodybuilding and taking care of a family. So
Yeah.
how do you time manage everything, right?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah,
I think being content with things being far from perfect, and just striving to make progress regardless of your imperfect circumstances is a big one for me. I think, you know, um, s- the sleep aspect for one, you know, obviously when kids are little, they don't sleep well, and then you couple that with my job of not sleeping well a lot of times, and choosing not to be frustrated, you know, and I chose both of these things. I chose to have children. I chose to have the job that I do, and I prayed for both of those things, and so I ought to be grateful, even though they're challenging, and just yeah, being okay with that and still making the best of it. You know, my meals can be very scattered. I do track my macros on a regular basis, but my meals and what I eat is pretty irregular. Timing can be irregular, and a lot of times that is from the the family aspect and then the job aspect too, where we could be gone for hours from the station. I try to keep some snacks in my pocket when I'm on whatever rig that I may be. at the firehouse. And then, but sometimes things at the house here get crazy, and the kids need whatever it is that they need, and so just being okay serving them first, and yeah, things being less than perfect. And I think you can still make so much progress. It's about that. Let's do 80%, let's do 70% every day,
Yeah.
and but let's do that with weeks, months, and years stacked on top of each other, and that's where you see real significant progress. It's not like today might be 20%, but that's okay because it's just a day. But tomorrow's 90%, and then the rest of the week is 70%. But I'm doing that, and I'm staying consistent. Um, and I see fitness too, and bodybuilding now is more than just like at first it was rooted in insecurity and um, ego, but now it's more, I see it as it's an obligation, and it's somewhat of an obligation. I don't know if that's the right word, but I see it as extremely important to my job, to being able to perform my duties at work, and also to be there for my children as long as I can be attractive to my wife, and then set an example for my kids, one that hopefully they can follow.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. That's a great answer to everything. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's definitely because I've talked to a few other people on the channel who are dads as well, and I think the whole part of giving a good example to your kids is a huge part of fitness. So that is something that I aim to do as well, right, when the day
Yeah,
comes. So to be able to, because kids do what you do, not what you tell them, right?
they watch everything, and they repeat
Yeah.
things that you say too, which can be really, really good or bad.
Yes. So I guess they learn all the curse words that you let slip out, and yeah.
But I've
Yeah.
wanted to show my children, they've been to multiple of my shows. They saw me
Cool.
get my natural pro card. They were cheering for
Wow.
me with my wife, which was one of the I treasure that memory. What a special moment in my life, and hopefully they'll remember that too. And I'm just so thankful to bring them along on the journey and not exclude them from the journey. It doesn't have to be selfish. It can involve everyone.
Right. Right. And that's the best way to do it, I believe. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so what role would you say that it sounds like your family plays quite a big role in your motivation, right?
Absolutely.
So it seems like, as you said, you want to look good for your wife, you want to be a good example for your kids, uh, you want to perform at your job. So it seems like, yeah, I love to hear that. I love to hear that the family is a big part of your motivation. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. I
And
think yeah, I think too in Western society, if we're looking at things a bit broader, I think most people, the general population in Western society, with just the food environment that we have, and then just the sedentary lifestyle that so many jobs promote, I think the majority of the population would be wise to be very intentional about their fitness, and their nutrition. Because unless you're like a postman getting tons of steps every day, it's going to be challenging for a lot of people to live a healthy life and get the activity levels that most of us need.
yeah, yeah, I mean, I know that myself, right? So I've been working full time, but I've been working from an office, right? So
Yeah.
so for me, I found my ways where I get my steps, where I take a bus part of the way and then I walk part of the way, both to and from work. So that I do usually sum up somewhere around 10,000 steps to and from work, basically. And yeah, and then I get my lifts early in the morning. And yeah, just find ways to make it work on top of everything else. So
So
um, yeah.
when you start your new job, will you work out before work? Is that the plan, or?
Yeah, that's still the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, early mornings and yeah, yeah. But that's the way I like it, anyways.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Uh, yeah, because uh, partially in the evening there is much more people at the gym when you go to a commercial gym, right?
Yeah,
But then also if I come home after work and I get the chance to relax, it's much harder to keep myself accountable to get to the gym. Uh,
yeah, totally.
so yeah, so I have to force myself to get it done first, and yeah, that's what works best for me. Um, so I did have another question for you,
Sure.
and so you have of course already accomplished a lot being a pro natural bodybuilder and having your career, your family, all of that. What would you say is your main um, drive or motivation forwards? Like, do you have any goals that you're chasing right now?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think the answer to that, if I'm honest, isn't as clear to me. I think it's a lot easier to see things clearly looking back, and it's like, oh, I see what was going on there, you know. Yeah, I've kind of gone back and forth as to when I'm going to compete again or what that should look like. It's a very taxing endeavor. It's hard on the family,
Yeah.
and I don't want to take that lightly. And my wife has to be on board with competing with me competing because if she's not, it's just not worth the stress, you know. So I think from a competition aspect, there's a chance that I may compete later this year. Still reassessing that, and I haven't been pressuring myself to make that decision. Um, it hasn't been too much of a concern in my mind, and I think I've dieted down over the last. I've been maintaining now for a while, but I was dieting for a while there, and it was no stress. It was the easiest diet I've ever done because I just didn't have anything that I was really pressuring myself for. But as far as bigger goals, I think I'm just really settling in at the fire department and finding my role. It takes years in the fire service to really become competent in the job, just because there's so many different types of calls. Every fire is different. Every medical call is slightly different. So it really does take years to get a true handle on it. Um, So yeah, I guess I need to. I don't know if I have a really confident, good answer for you there. I'm definitely just enjoying watching my kids get older and enjoying being a dad and seeing how much progress I can still make naturally. The temptation to get on TRT or use other peptides or different compounds, I think's never been greater to some degree. Just
Mhm.
because of the availability and the promotion on social media, it seems like it's just everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere, and um, I think there's a lot of young people that are hopping on really early, and that they might regret it later on. You know, I don't know. I can't speak for everybody, but they may regret it. I think there's going to be some people out there that look back and wish they hadn't have done that. But yeah, like I said, we're going to keep pushing the physique naturally for as long as we can here, and I don't think I'd like to step on stage again soon, if I'm honest.
Cool.
Well, I need to make a decision here very soon about whether it's going to be this year. I have it on my calendar that if I'm going to continue dieting, I need to start on June 15th, and then I have some shows that I'm looking at in August and September. So,
Right, right. Cool.
those-
No, no. So I mean, even though you haven't decided on a specific show or anything like that, it sounds like, first of all, it sounds like you are enjoying the process of everything you're doing, and I think that's so important as well, right? And as you said, you have goals on your job maybe right now, which are very important. So, and that is his own thing, right? So, and also as you're saying, watching your kids grow and all of that, That's amazing. So yeah. So I wasn't trying to pressure you to something more specific
No, it's
necessarily. So yeah.
it's fine. I just didn't want to give you
Yeah.
a made up answer on
Right.
something that I haven't figured out. So
No, that's great. That's great. I love it. I love it. And yeah, I did have another question in this. Yeah, since I've seen that you've been also like working together with RP recently, right? With some fire fighting thing. And what is your connection with RP, by the way? Because I mean, I recently became an ambassador as well, just representing the brand,
congrats.
right? Yeah, thank you, thank you. So what has been your connection to them, and how did you get in touch? And yeah.
Yeah, I started following Mike and Jared in 2020.
Mhm.
It was during COVID, and they were living in an apartment in Vegas, and they were doing these rooftop workouts. They had constructed like a pretty nice home gym on the top of this roof in an apartment, and they had a tarp covering the gym, and they were just getting workouts in together, and that's when I started following them, and then just really have learned a lot from Mike and Jared and the whole team over the years. That's helped my training tremendously, my progression, just taking form and execution to another level, a higher standard, and then just being very diligent about tracking, taking tracking lifts seriously, taking tracking macros and nutrition seriously. And those are things that I wasn't great at early on. I spent a lot of years kind of spinning my wheels because I was just doing whatever random workout was in Flex magazine that was Ronnie Coleman's back workout, um, and it wasn't doing the movements. The quality wasn't there with the movements, and I wasn't really tracking my nutrition. My nutrition was all over the place as far as the quality and the macros. And so yeah, so um, the team at RP and just their communication and the overall message has just been something that overall I've been very um, in agreement with a lot of it, and I'm not in agreement with everything, but I don't think that's a requirement to be enthusiastic about a brand or a team. Um, so yeah, that's where I'm at. I've just continued to be involved and stay involved, and we just filmed. My fire department just filmed a video with Mike
Mhm.
that I think is going to be really great. So I actually did a video. A lot of people don't know this, but I did a video with Mike in 2022.
Cool.
He put me and another firefighter through a back workout at his gym.
I have to find that.
So that's yeah, I'll send you the link. But
Cool.
so that's the first time I met Mike. He made a post asking for different kinds of people to reach out to him if they wanted to be put through a workout. And I said, hey, you want to put a couple of firefighters through a lift? And he said, yep. And so we connected then. I met him in 2022, and we just kind of kept in touch ever since then.
Wow, that's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, and I've been following RP basically for most of my weight loss journey. I guess, started for a few months on my own, but then I did find them and started to get a lot of advice both on nutrition and then lifting. And so they have been a big part of that. And then I was a guest on the podcast last summer.
Oh, nice. I
Yeah,
gotta listen to that. You gotta watch my video, and then I gotta listen to your podcast.
exactly. So I'll send you the link to that too.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, yeah. So, and that was a great opportunity for me, of course, just to get my story out there. And
Yeah.
yeah, and they have been helping me a lot to share my post and my story like on social media. So they have helped me grow, and so I'm very grateful to RP in general. Great guys. So yeah, yeah.
Have you been over to the States
I
before?
have. I mean, I've been to the States, but not together with RP. Like I
Okay.
have a sister who lives in LA,
Okay.
So I've been to LA and I've been to New York. But yeah, yeah, I would definitely love to visit both Dr. Mike and Nick and Jared and everyone. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That'd be really cool.
yeah, yeah. So and you of course.
I appreciate it. Likewise.
So we should do a workout together at some point. Yeah,
That'd be epic. I'd love that.
yeah, yeah. All right. So I guess this leads me to my last two questions, I guess.
Sure.
So one is, so I'm going to take them at the same time and then you can take your time to answer, right? But one is if there is anything that you would like to add about your story or your transformation, I guess. And then the other one is if you have any more questions for me to close off. Yeah.
Something to add about my story. Um, yeah, and I think this is something that's, been said by, I didn't invent this, I'll say that, but I think that I want to see as many people get fit as possible. That's true. It's truly a big passion of mine, and I love, hearing other people's stories and finding commonality. Like even in your story, we're different, but at the same time, there's points of connection that we can gather around and relate to. But yeah, it doesn't have to be this 6, 7 day a week, multiple hour thing. It can just be, an hour. I'd be hard pressed if most people can't find an hour 3 times a week, and just convincing the majority of people that if you could do an hour 3 times a week, you can make tremendous progress. And even if you just did weight training, with a good program, with good execution, 3 times a week, and you didn't change anything else, you could see huge progress in a year. And then if you coupled that with changes in nutrition as well, I mean, like it could be tremendous. And I don't think there's anybody out there that maybe there's people out there, but most people, um, I think could accomplish that really. So. I'm trying to, a big passion of mine is talking to other people in the fire service about that. I think it's our duty in the fire service to stay in shape for the job. And I try to encourage people at work that, hey, you should make time, and it's not that difficult to make time. Just about priorities. And we all make time for what's important to us, right?
Yeah.
So most people can make time if they truly want to.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, firefighters are supposed to be on calendars, right? And
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the question is, it's like, what kind of firefighter, if you're in trouble, what kind of firefighter do you want coming to help you?
A fit one.
Exactly. A fit, confident firefighter. That's what everybody wants.
Yeah, no, I agree to that, and I try to tell people exactly what you're saying, basically, and that's start. I mean, I guess my philosophy is just because I try to speak with people who come even from the most extreme situations like me, right? Being morbidly obese and all of that, and I guess my best advice is start somewhere, right?
Absolutely.
Do something which is as similar as possible to what you're doing today, but a little bit better. So that's the best starting point. The best starting point is not trying to do everything perfect all at once because you're going to fail, unfortunately, very quickly. So, but if you start from where you are, make the change which is the most immediate that you can imagine of doing, and start from there, then you will get the motivation to make more changes along the way. So just start somewhere, do something similar but better, a little bit better, and then a little bit better again, and then over time you'll see huge results.
That's
So
it.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah. Cool questions for you is what that was the other part.
yeah, right, yeah.
Was there for you when you changed, was there like a moment or a day where something happened that led you to a change, or was it kind of a progression of things? What led you to make the changes that you've made?
That's a great question, and it's a little bit of both.
Yeah,
I guess I will try to give you the short version.
yeah,
But yeah, I think to understand why I made a change, I think somebody needs to understand why I was there to begin with, right?
Yeah.
So I had been big all my life, but then there were several years of my life where I was quite depressed. That's just the only way to put it. I had given up on a lot of things in my life. I've mentioned here today as well something which is still a dream, a hope of mine is building a family. And that is something which, yeah, my love life is something which I felt has been one of my biggest failures throughout my life. And yeah, for several years, I just thought that's never going to happen for me. So why bother? Let me just live from day to day. Let me enjoy food. That's what I like. And right, and survive,
Yeah.
I guess. So that was the mindset I was in for several years. And yeah, then a few things happened. I had some heartbreak. Then I was already quite down, and then the pandemic came.
Yeah.
I was isolated for a long time, working from home and all of that. Um, and then I did meet with some healthcare professional, because we were doing a plan together with my work to get back to the office. And there I met someone who looked me in the eyes and said, I can see that you're sad. I can see that you're down. And that was actually the main trigger where everything began. Because for many years I felt like nobody saw me, right?
Yeah.
People will just see the outside, they will see what they saw, they will see this
Yeah.
morbidly obese guy, but they will not see the guy
Right.
behind, right? So so that was the main trigger. Somebody actually recognizing me as a person, seeing me for what I was going through. So I had to seek help, and I saw a therapist for about a year, and I had to work on myself and a lot of my baggage and a lot of my stuff before being able to make any physical changes.
Yeah.
So that has been kind of my journey, and then after that I started to make some changes to my diet, small changes, and then I started to walk a little bit more. But then I got a curveball because I tore my ACL on the right side, just walking down the stairs at that weight.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I had to deal with trying to get back movement again. So I was kind of stuck, and so I've had to fight my way back from that. And now I
Yeah.
have I have a record of 70,000 steps in a day.
Nice.
Yeah, going back, coming from not being able to walk basically 3 years
It's
ago. So
amazing.
yeah, so
I love the honesty.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
great.
Thank you. I mean, you know, I'm very open. I try to be very open about most of this stuff because I know that if I was someone listening to this and I was in my old situation, then I would like someone to be open about their struggles, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't see any point in saying, "Oh, look at me, I'm so good. Look what I did." That doesn't really do anything. Uh,
Yeah.
so the only reason why I did anything I did is because I got in a horrible situation to begin with, and right, and I had to pull myself back, and so yeah, I've had a lot of struggles, and I've had to fight to take control of my life again, and I'm I'm going forwards. I've had some small setbacks again, and yeah, I've had some because I went for what for me was very low body weight. So I started from 463 pounds. I went
Okay.
down to 193.
Oh wow.
And
That's
yeah,
amazing work.
yeah, thank you. And but then I got some health issues as well, right? Because I was going a bit too hard, and at
Yeah.
the same time I was at a very stressful job, right? And I also had some other issues going on in my life. I'm yeah, on top of everything, I'm dealing with debt as well. So yeah, I've had quite a lot of stress, right? And so I did crash out about 6 months ago, almost 7 now. And so I had a few fainting episodes, right? I ended up at
Mm.
the emergency room. And yeah, so after that, I gained back about 30 pounds in 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then I decided to keep those for now, right? So I've been recomping for the last 6 months. And that's probably you saw an update I did recently,
I
right? So
did, yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
so
So this is where that recomp came from. So
okay.
I kept those extra pounds that I gained, and I tried to switch them out for something better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so now I'm going into a phase where I'm going to do a slow cut, and yeah, but I'm mainly focusing on shrinking my waist and not too much on the weight on the scale.
Mm.
So that's where I'm at right now. Uh, so I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. Uh, all right. Anything else you would like to ask?
I don't think so, Leo. I'm thankful you had me on. I'm very grateful for the opportunity, and it's been great to talk to you.
Yeah, and I'm very grateful that you took the time as well. I understand you have a busy schedule, so I appreciate
Okay.
this. And no, it's great hearing about your story. I think we have, as I said, a lot in common, even if coming from different sides of it. And yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. You're very inspiring. I love following you. So yeah,
Appreciate that, Leo. Likewise.
yeah. All right. So then, thank you for today, and thanks for everyone for watching and listening. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Talk to you
All right.
soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.